Good morning. My name is Miguel Gonzalez, and I'm a retirement specialist with over 19 years of experience helping clients in retirement income planning, overseeing investment of funds, and designing retirement plans. Let's talk about 2020. This video is your 2020 year in review. The global pandemic disrupted economies, financial markets, and daily life in 2020. Households and businesses were put to the test during the toughest and grimiest years in decades. The winter brought a resolution to the U.S.-China Tariff dispute, the Brexit referendum, and the first U.S. appearance of the coronavirus. As spring started, abrupt stay-at-home orders in response to COVID-19 curtailed business activities, which dampened consumer spending. The federal government responded, arranging stimulus payments for millions of Americans. Wall Street bounced back from its March downturn, but the economy limped along. The pandemic entered its worst phase in fall, but two highly promising vaccines were announced in November, and as winter started, they began to roll out to the public. On the cusp of 2021, Congress approved a second national economic stimulus, and the European Union and the United Kingdom signed off on a post-Brexit trade deal. There are many unanswered questions as we enter 2021. Will mass vaccination happen as quickly as we anticipate? Will a successful vaccination program lead to more hiring, more travel, more in-store shopping, and more confidence? The financial markets will be watching progress on this effort. Let's talk about the U.S. economy. The pandemic sent the U.S. economy into an abnormal phase and saw fundamental economic indicators displayed in atypical reading. The Department of Labor's main jobless rate, 3.5 in February, hit 14.7% by April. Headline unemployment declined for the next 7 months to 6.7% by November. The U6 unemployment rate, measuring unemployment and underemployment, peaked at 22.8% in April. As people stayed home, consumer spending trended lower, falling 6.9% in March and 12.6% in April. The federal government moved to boost economic activity. As March ended, a $2 trillion economic stimulus bill became law, featuring cash payments to households, temporary increases in federal unemployment benefits, and a small business administration program pledging to offer distressed companies funds equivalent to 8 weeks of payroll costs. The aid began rolling out in April, and in May, the White House unveiled Operation Warp Speed, a public and private partnership intended to produce COVID-19 vaccines in record time. 2 vaccines were approved by the Food and Drug Administration by fall. Let's talk about the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve took the benchmark federal funds interest rate down to a target range of 0 to 0.25% and revived emergency loan programs first introduced in 2008. It collaborated with the Department of Treasury on efforts to buy corporate bonds and encourage business loans. In a monetary policy shift, the central bank said in August that it would accept average inflation of 2% for the near term and was willing to tolerate a little more inflation in the economy while pursuing the goal of full employment. As stay-at-home orders lifted, the economy rebounded. Gross domestic product, which the Bureau of Economic Analysis said had contracted 31.4% in the second quarter, grew 33.4% in the third quarter. The BEA also recorded 41% in quarter 3 climb for consumer spending. Stay-at-home orders returned in the fourth quarter, however, prompting another federal economic stimulus in December. The housing market stayed strong. By November, existing home sales were up 25.8% year over year, according to the National Association of Realtors. Census Bureau data showed a 20.8% annualized improvement for new home buying. Let's talk about the U.S. and China tariff. The U.S. and China tariff dispute eased throughout the year. In January 2020 trade talks, the U.S. promised to lessen import taxes on China goods, and China agreed to buy more American exports. The global economy. The International Monetary Fund expects the world economy will contract 4.4% in 2020. If that estimate holds, 2020 will be the worst year for global growth since the 1930s. The U.S. economy shrank 4.3% in 2020, according to IMF's forecast. That is better than 8.3% setback estimated for the Eurozone. The IMF projects that China's economy grew 1.9% last year. As for 2021, it sees GDP advances of 8.2% for China, 5.2% for the Eurozone, and 3.1% for US. The European Union and the United Kingdom agreed to a post-Brexit trade deal on December 24. This completed the Brexit process, which began in 2016, leave vote, and included the UK's former exit from the EU last January. Businesses and financial firms based in the UK now face new trade rules and costs even with the new pact in place. Looking at the stock benchmarks around the world, there were ups and downs. South Korea's Kospi Composite stood out with a 30.75% 2020 gain. Argentina's Merval climbed 22.93% and Taiwan's index climbed 22.8%. Two other notable 2020 advances, Japan's Nikkei added 16.01% and China's Shanghai Composite rose 13.87%. There were also notable retreats. Indonesia's Composite lost 5.09%, France's lost 7.14%, Russia 10.42% down, Spain's IBEX 15.45% down. The MSCI EFA index, a broad benchmark tracking developed economies overseas, in Europe and Asia rose 5.43%. My final thoughts. We join all Americans in happily drawing a curtain on 2020. Though it was a challenging and tragic year for many, there are good reasons to believe that 2021 will be a year of progress in returning to our pre-pandemic normal. We wish you and your family a healthy and happy new year. Once again, this is Miguel Gonzalez with Cortburg Retirement Advisors. Please take a moment to click the like icon and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for our weekly video podcast every Monday morning. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next week.